So two characteristics of a successful pursuit of the Lord, or successfully pursuing the Lord. Because you can unsuccessfully pursue the Lord. Pride will easily push God away. God says he resists the proud. He pushes away the proud. So you can go after God. Well, I'm going to get a hold of God because God, he's my friend, and because he's my friend, he has to do what I says. Well, that's pride. Well, let's put that out. What is successful in seeking the Lord? Two things: hunger and humility. If I could see any gifting going on in my church or in my family, I would want to see these two things: hunger and humility. Hunger is what makes us pursue the Lord. Hunger makes us go after God. My soul longs for the presence of God. I'm hungry for you, God. I'm more hungry for you than I am. I'm more hungry for you than I am for other things. So you even feel that right now, just the hunger of the Lord? His goodness right now, I just pray even as you're watching this, let the goodness of the Lord and His presence pour into you. Hunger. Jesus says, those that hunger and thirst after righteousness will be filled. I want to be filled. I have such a longing for Him. Such a longing. That's a hunger. The second thing is humility. Here's the thing, humility. The Bible says God resists the proud, but He gives grace to those that are humble. And the Bible consistently says, how do we humble ourselves? Don't say, God, humble me. The Bible says, humble yourself in the sight of the Lord, and He will exalt you in due time. Humbling is a position and a posture of my heart to say, God, I'm getting as low as I can get. And here's the thing, sometimes people have hunger to pursue the Lord, and then when God speaks, they don't have the humility to receive from the Lord. So hunger and humility come together because humility says, He's King. I trust Him. I serve Him. If He speaks to me, I'm going to listen. And so humility is that way of receiving from God whatever He's going to speak. Because for some of you, you're making so much money, you're doing so many things, and the Lord's going to say, sell everything and go to the mission field. Well, what if you don't have the humility to receive that? Well, God, I can't do that. Some of you, God's going to say, hey, I need you to make 6, 7 figures because you're going to fund the kingdom. Okay. Whatever you say, Lord. See, God's going to say things that are going to challenge us in that place, in our place in life. And so humility is we get as low as we can. Because here's the thing. God gives grace to the humble. That means grace. What is grace? Let's just talk about this real quick. What is grace? Grace is not just the ability not to sin. Grace is the supernatural power of God to be who God has called us to be. That's what grace is. Paul said, by grace I am what I am. By grace Paul was an apostle. Paul was a teacher. I mean, this is what grace is. Grace is the ability to be in God, to hear God, to walk with God, to overcome challenges and obstacles. And so the Bible says God gives grace to the humble. So humility, you're not just getting low so you can receive, you're getting low so you can be empowered to do what God's called you to do. So hunger is going to get you to that place, and humility is going to allow you to receive from God. These are two things that every day of our life we need to have: hunger and humility. So let's have hunger and humility as we step into this fast.